Okay, so I'm gonna talk about emperors and empress. I'm just gonna tie them in together because they very relevant to each other. Like, I feel like more so than any other archetype, the emperor and empress plays very important roles in each other's lives. Like when you think of like a king of pentacles may not necessarily have the best relationship with a queen of pentacles. So when it comes to like the kings and the queens, it's better for them to mix and match. But when it comes to the emperor and empress, it's like they will be the most balanced with each other. Like they gonna function to their highest quality with each other. I had to clear my throat because I smoked a joint. But anyways, I could start out with with the emperors because something that I've been thinking about repeatedly about emperors is that they like to gatekeep their partners in a sense where I feel like they view it as protection. So a lot of times when it comes to emperors and their partners, like if you was to come up to them and be like, yeah, I really want to meet your wife. Like, do you think that you could introduce us or something? Or I was planning to say hi to her when I see her. And the emperor gonna be like, what is your business? What is your business with them? Why you need to see them? Why you need to talk to them? What you need to talk about? And they will also either naturally or strategically set up a situation that people go through them to get to their wife or partner or whatever, because women can be emperors too, and you know they end up with women a lot of time, but sometimes they end up with men. But I was seeing this video. It came into my algorithm. It was in a whole nother language. These were white people with dark features. It was a wedding ceremony. And I could tell that this was a emperor and an empress. I don't know who they is. I couldn't tell you their name. I wouldn't even know how to find the video because it was a while ago and it was in a whole nother language. So, but you know, if you want to find the most unique women in the world, you will usually find them with an emperor. Emperor really value uniqueness, and they usually end up with women that would make other people question, like, where did you find where did you find this woman? Like, I feel like it's different though when it's like a female. Hold on, I'm looking for this nail salon. A female emperor getting with a male empress, that would be hard. But I guess a fake example of this is it's some type of TV show, and it's about this black dude. He's a guru, or he do energy healing or something like that. And he married into a royal family, and he was feminine in nature, and the woman that he was marrying, she was masculine in nature. I don't remember the name and everything. I would try to remember to like look for that. But now I could tell because they was like having a wedding and they was doing like some type of traditional dance and everything. And I could tell the girl out from the crowd, because a lot of times when you will see Empress, you know, a really good show that show this dynamic is the Empress on Netflix. Like I felt like that whole show was like dedicated to that archetype. But the main character, the Empress, like she really show you the characteristics of like an Empress. Like usually they would be very strong-willed. They will go against the grain with something. Like even in that show, 100 Years of Solitude, and the Empress in it, like she was rebelling against what her family was telling her to do. And you will see that a lot with the Empress archetype. Usually they will have to like rebel against something. And they don't try to stand out in a crowd, but they will stand out in the crowd because they probably doing something else. Like you could, it's like if an emperor was like on stage or something like that, and they was talking to a crowd, everybody else is probably going to be staring and paying attention to the emperor. The empress probably will be distracted looking at some type of art on the wall or something like that. And they visibly are just doing something else. And that's why emperors are so good at seeing empress. Because, you know, I think I'm going to have to separate them actually. Because it's gonna take too long if I put the empress in this as well. So they emperors really good at finding uniqueness and different. So they naturally treat things like an asset. So that's why they gatekeep their partners. Okay, what else about the emperor? They have a lot of ego. And they are meant to have it, because I feel like a well-developed ego is really good for an emperor. I don't feel like they were able to evolve into an emperor without the ego. It's just how they utilize the ego is very important because they could develop like a codependent relationship with the ego, and then it become like toxic because they utilizing it in times when they shouldn't, and they utilizing it to protect their fears. They utilizing it to not be vulnerable. But that is like a unbalanced emperor. A balanced emperor, they would utilize their ego to build their empire. But what else? They very deeply connected to the 3D realm because they are meant to terraform it. Like they come here and they think about terraforming the land in some type of way by like putting their stamp on it or building an empire in some type of way. So they could be very attached to this earthy realm. And they gonna really deeply care about the matters of this realm. Meaning like the way that they present to people, their reputation, how people view their authority, what they have that makes them stand out. Because they like to have not just something of value, but something that is hard for other people to have. And I feel like they think like this because it will give them leverage. So they think of ways to stay in a position of power. The reason why the emperor and the empress is so connected because in the dynamic you will recognize an empress because no matter where she is, the community will try to include her. Like you will see neighbors that speak to her or include her in conversations or even plans and talks and conversations about like the community. You know, in black communities, you will have like this big mama like energy, and it's almost like their home slowly develops into some type of orphanage or something, and she would be like taking care of the community, and she would like care about the people in the community, and people would come to her for like help and guidance. I mean, you will also see this with the high priestess in the community, but like in a different way. You know, T.I., he did some show. I think it's called The Apartments or something. It was about this like apartment complex. And I think he called her the Hood Oracle. Yeah, that's the kind of experience that you're gonna have with a high priestess. Like, um, people are like in the movie Eve Bayou. Good example. the light skinned girl who did divination, that's what you will see the role a high priestess will be playing in the community. But people will still seek out, but more undercover. You know, people may not want to be known for associating with the high priestess because probably like scared to be judged, religion, dogma, and shit like that. Like even in that movie, 100 Years of Solitude, that woman who had the babies of the two sons, she was a high priestess. So yeah, and emperors do really well with the council of a high priestess, but in some way, in some form, the high priestess energy will be counseling the emperor. Oh, going back to the dynamic, right? Like in the empire. So in the empire, the empress, she stayed with the people, solidifying home, making sure that everything is okay and well in the community and taken care of, while the emperor is going out to seek more territory. I hope I'm making sense. So, like, that's like their energetic pattern with each other. And that's the role that they will want to play. The Empress is going to want to be with the community. There's another movie about like these blind people, and that one girl, she was a empress, and she had the longing to be with her community, to be in her kingdom. That would be important to the empress to make sure that everybody is okay. The emperor is going to be thinking about expanding and legacy. And the people is probably going to cherish the empress more than the emperor. Just like, you know, most kids, they probably would choose to save their mama before they save their dad. So, yeah. Nah, I really gotta go. So, it's gonna be a part two. Alright, so more on emperors, because I'm home now. I got my toes color, my two favorite colors, which is black and red. But I like dark red, like burgundy, because earth tone colors look good on me. Like earth tones mixed with gold look good on me. I just remember this day, and I was just looking so angelic this particular day. And I had these gold earrings that was made out of like this thread. It was like one of my favorite earrings. I got it from like Target or something like that, but they was like loop earrings, but they was threaded with like this gold thread. But it was kind of like a metallic thread or something. And I had this dress that was like this earth tone color and everything. And I was going to church this particular day, and I was just looking so angelic. But I feel like that's the day that I realized that earth tone colors really look good on me. But yeah. So emperors. Yeah, I keep forgetting that this is like about love and relationships and stuff. So, uh, emperors are usually very loyal people, but it seemed that they only really loyal to empress. It's like if they don't have an empress, they would try to create one, because you know how they say that the empress is all four queens in one. So if the emperor if the emperor doesn't have an empress, they would like have multiple queens that would sum up into an empress. But the thing is that it's almost like it's going to exhaust them. Like that is exhausting for them. And you know, I feel like emperors don't treat queens well. And queens are very valuable, but it's almost like they treat them in the manner of, I have to schedule you in or something. It's almost like the emperor would treat a queen like, I will meet up with you every 3 weeks or something like that. It's the way that their lifestyle usually is and like what they are focused on. And their first love would be their ambition, like whatever they decided to put that ambition in. you know it could be in politics, it could be in business, it could be in anything, whatever they decide to put their ambition in. But that ambition is usually like what they live for. They don't feel balance if they are not ambitious. And that Empress show is such a good example. Oh my goodness, that is such a good. I think I want to rewatch that show. Listen, before he got with the Empress, well, before he even met her and stuff like that, he was dealing with like a Queen of Wands. Now, see, the issue with emperors, with queens, is that they won't truly understand the emperor. Like the queen was trying to appeal to his animalistic nature. And it really showed that because, this queen, she was like really obsessed with him. So he would like make time whenever for her or whatever. It seemed like she always had to exert herself. And they show a scene where she put on like this animal rug or something like that, and she was like naked underneath. That's how queens appeal to emperors. Because emperors, they would be the type that, well, male emperors that are into women, they will be the type that women will send them nudes. But not just any news, not the same news that they will send the king. These will be the news that they put thought into. This might even be the news that they had a homegirl come over and help them take the picture or something like that. Like, but the pages, but I feel like a lot of the major arcanas, they don't really deal with the pages. They deal with major arcanas or kings or queens. Um, but the queens and kings have a hard time understanding the mentalities of the major arcanas. So it would be hard for them to relate to them like on a deeper level. And their drive and their focus will be different. See, with an empress, she will be so busy in her own ambition that quality time would be measured differently. I don't need to see you every day for our love to be grounded. Like if the emperor was to go off, even if it's for a long period of time, that empress will still be grounded in the relationship because she will be focusing on her ambition. And she will be understanding that the emperor is focusing on their ambition. See, there's a type of trust that happens between the emperor and the empress. It'd be like this natural groundedness because, a king or queen might be focused like on competition. So when this emperor is out or whatever, they might be thinking about how is they feeding into their animalistic nature. So if I'm not there with them, they gonna start fucking somebody else. If I'm not there watching them, you know, they gonna get those needs fulfilled from somebody else. But that's them not understanding the mentality of the emperor and the empress. So a lot of times emperor and empress, they be like caught up in their own ambition, and they will have this natural understanding between each other that they won't feel insecure in a relationship even if they don't see each other all the time. And the reason why they feel grounded with each other is because they won't get in the way of each other's ambition. They won't even feel the need to. It's not like it's something like they trying to do. It's just a quiet understanding between them because their mentalities will be built the same. But in that show, once he found his empress, he let go of the queen, even though she was willing to be a side piece. And she thought that the sexual energy that she was giving him was something that he couldn't depart from. But the empress naturally connected to him in a deeper way that made him feel fulfilled. And then you have to understand how the emperor think. They be like, man, if I could just, if I have everything in this, then I don't have to spread my energy so thin, and then I could just focus on my ambition. Like they naturally think like that. That's why that happens. And there will be a level of satisfaction because The emperor will include the empress, but they probably won't include a queen or a king. I feel like things exist different in those realms. Mentalities exist differently in those realms. So it's like a lot of times uh counsel and support is very valuable to the emperor. So if the emperor can ask you about a plan or something that they are working on or something like that, and you give really good answers, you give answers that they resonate with because y'all think the same, they gonna want to include you. Like, um to this day, my ex-husband, when he do something, he like to ask me advice. Like, he like to run it by me or have me look at it or something like that. Um, because he know that I have good ideas, and he utilizing an aspect of me that I be trying to control, but it's hard for me to control. But when I look at things, I instantly think of how it could be better. I instantly think, and people ask me stuff a lot. Like, I was at work and they getting like a makeover, so they rebuilding everything and upgrading everything. Um, and the contractor asked me what I think of the design and stuff. He was asking me, what do I think? And I was like, yeah, I liked it, but there was some designs that didn't really make sense to me. Like, in front of the bathroom, I felt like they should have had put concrete instead of rug, because you could see, like, very early they just put it down and the rug started to get dirty, and you could see the traffic going in and out of the bathroom, and it's not really sanitary. I feel like that needs to be an area that you should be able to mop. So instead, they put carpet there. And when I was, because I don't think I explained it like that at first. I said that, I was like, well, I don't think y'all should have had put rug in front of the bathrooms. And then he scratched his head and he was like, so what should we have put there? And I was like, y'all should have had put tile or concrete. And I was like, an example of that is at another building that I was working at, because they was also upgrading there. And he was like, oh, he don't know nothing about that because that's under a different contractor. But they made the same mistakes on all the other floors, but on the first floor that they did, they put concrete there. And I felt like they should have did that with every floor, but whatever. But it doesn't mean that I don't like it. It just, that's where my mind goes. Like, how can it be improved? How can it be better? Because I feel like, isn't that what you asking me for? Because when I be asking people stuff, that's what I be looking for. I be looking for actual suggestions, solutions, advice. If I'm asking you, like, why else? I don't know, child. I just don't. What is the normal way? Like, what do people usually do? Is it just to have conversation? You're not really supposed to give your input. Like, what are you supposed to do? I don't know. And I be feeling like I be doing a lot of things abnormal. That's why people be like giggling. But I don't be I don't know the normal way to do it. So I don't know. Oh, I'm looking for my water, child. Oh, okay, emperors. Yeah, so but that's why they end up being very devoted in a relationship. And also, emperors are rare and they are unique. They one of a kind. So emperors, they feel satisfied, very protective over their empress. That's why I said, like, that's why they gatekeep. And I also feel like, because I noticed that emperor, when they find a empress or whatever, like, this person seemed to be like something rare and ducked off. Like, a lot of times when I seen emperor with the empress, like, the empress seemed like such a mysterious person, like somebody that was just so ducked off. You could have been in the same city or neighborhood all your life. They could have been born and raised in your neighborhood, went to your school and everything. And it's like, but you never seen them before. But when you do see them, it's like, how I didn't see this person. But there will be a network that knows about this person, because even though I was very quiet in school, people would pay attention to me because I was quiet. So it been so many times that, I'll just be out and about and somebody would come up to me and be like, yeah, I know you. I know who you is. We went to the same school. You was always quiet. And especially if they see me in a different dynamic, they might see me being goofy or something because I'm with like my close friend. So I'm being goofy and expressive. When they might have seen me in a situation that I was new to. So I was being quiet and observant. So they will say stuff like, dang, I didn't know. I didn't even know that you talk. You just always was so quiet. But they still notice me. Um, so you will see that. You will see that around Empress. I keep getting the visual of this girl. This is a girl that my baby father used to be in love with, but he knew her before me. But they was already broken up. See, my baby father, he's a Libra. And I don't know if I'm going to necessarily call him a hoe, but he was a cheater for sure. And when I met him, he said he was single, but he had like this on and off relationship with this girl that she was just completely obsessed with him. Like, she was just so. I used to say, like, that's the person that loved you the most. But it wasn't love, it was obsession. And, like, he did her the worst. I remember one time, oh, this the first time I experienced venom from a female like that. Somebody that hates your guts and it's about a dude. You ever heard a female talk to you and you just knew that if she had the opportunity to kill you, she would? I heard that from her. Listen, I was just on straight demon time and everything. But no, not really. I really wanted to ride home. So sometimes after school, I might go over a friend's house or something like that, but I missed the bus and I would need a ride home. So I would hit him up because he would just always had a car. Like, his dad is a mechanic and his dad taught him how to be a mechanic. And my baby father was always a really hard worker. Like, even in high school, he would have like two jobs, and he had a business where he was detailing. He worked the jobs to get the truck to do detailing. So, but there was times that he would pick me up and I wouldn't know who car it was, and I wouldn't ask. I didn't really care. I thought maybe it could have been his mom, his auntie, his grandma, something, anybody. Kind of find out it's her car. But be that as it may, I was trying to get in touch with him, but he wasn't picking up the phone. And my intuition was telling me he with that girl. So my homeboy, Scorpio dude, I talked about him a few times, but he always been very feminine. He has a feminine voice. He know how to talk like a female and everything. Oh, but I didn't utilize that at that time. No. Um, he slightly knew the girl and everything. So I had him call her phone, the girl phone, and ask for my baby daddy. He wasn't my baby daddy yet. So he called her phone and he was like, "Hey girl, what's up? Um, is my baby daddy around?" I ain't gonna say his name. So he was like, "Is such and such around? Can I talk to him?" And she was like, "Yeah." So she handed the phone to him. And then I got on the phone and I was like, "I want you to pick me up." And he did. He left her wherever she was and he came and got me. When I was in the car with him, she called him and he just didn't give a fuck. He was like, "Yeah, I'm in the car with Christina or whatever." And she was like, "Put me on speaker." So he put her on speaker and she started to tell me how much she hate me. She was like, "I hate you. I hate you so much." And you know what was crazy at the time is that I was like just getting over a cold. So my voice was like really hoarse and everything. So I couldn't even really waste energy to say anything to her. But the hate in her voice was so deep that it made my eyes water. Like, I had compassion towards her. Like, I knew at that time I don't really feel like I cared, but I was still impacted. So I still felt her pain, but I just didn't care. Um, Now, what was my point? I don't know what was my point of telling that story. I'm so sorry. Um, Empress. Empress. Oh, okay, the girl. Okay, yeah. So I only seen a picture of this girl, but I could tell that in the picture he was absolutely infatuated with her. She was very beautiful and everything. And I'm a Aquarius, so I never really got jealous about the other female. Um, so I didn't feel that. But because of that, we was able to have like a real conversation. So he told me the story of this girl, and I was like, mm. And it was a pretty deep story. Like they had a deep story together, and I could tell in the picture how much he liked her. And he was like, yeah, I did. I did really like her. Um, I actually had a dream of her like recently, and I told my baby father about that, and he told me that she had passed away some time ago. He said it really hurt him and everything. But I felt like that girl, she had like the imprint of like a empress. Um, you could even see her uniqueness through the photo. So, and see, emperors, they usually develop into emperors. And they start out usually like a king of pentacles or a king of wands, but they could definitely start out like a king of cups, like in that show The Empress. I believe before he developed into an emperor, he was a king of cups. Or a king of wands. Usually when you see emperors that develop from a king of wands, they might have got into trouble. You will see that with the queen of wands as well. Like a lot of empress, I fill up. I feel they initially develop out of like a queen of pentacles or a queen of swords. And a lot of time high priestesses come from queen of wands. And okay, so with the queen of wands, let me explain this real quick. The reason I'm saying that is because of the way that people envy the queen of wands. It kind of pushes them down the path to become a high priestess, because they would have to learn how to energetically protect themselves. Um, See, when I get into the Queen of Wands, I get deeper into it, but the Queen of Wands, they really know how to invoke desire into people. And I feel like that can make a lot of people envious of them. Especially a Queen of Wands that is a woman. She will be envied by other women because of either how men react to her or the attention that men would give her or women. Sometimes Queen of Wands would attract both. Sometimes, a lot of times. A lot of times. Like the amount of times I came across Queen of Wands and they was like at least vicarious. Like they at least had like a girlfriend for the summer or something like that. Like Queen of Wands do enjoy sexuality. And then you will see that associated with high priestess. Like a lot of times high priestess would get a reputation, like they would get that scarlet letter of like a hoe. Like even in that show 100 Years of Solitude, the son that she had started to desire her, but he didn't know that she was his mother. So she kept trying to push him away from her, and he called her a hoe or a slut or something. He said something on the lines of, everybody know that you easy and whatnot. And this is the desires that are projected onto the high priestess. Like people will project their desires onto them and then judge it. And the high priestess is most likely not a hoe. But it's almost like people will get upset if like they are not chosen. So it's almost like if the high priestess doesn't want to be intimate with them, then they will demonize whoever the high priestess was like intimate with before them. I mean, yeah, it is what it is. And it's also the fact that people project darkness and sin onto the high priestess because the high priestess represent Lilith, and how people have been indoctrinated and demonized towards Lilith is the same thing that they do to the high priestess, and it's also the same thing that we are seeing with the moon. Like people coming out demonizing the moon recently, and I usually see men doing it. It's just the same repeated indoctrination of Lilith. It really is. I seen something and people talking about it's the moon that is making people docile about the Epstein files. It's like, damn, not too long ago, everybody blamed the moon for people chaos. You know, on a full moon, people lose their mind or whatever if they not aware. But now they saying that the moon is numbing us. And, you know, it's like you infected by the sun, the solar flare of the sun, but you don't see nobody blaming the sun for shit. It's the same ideology. It's the same thing happening all over again. People just find new ways to demonize, blame, take from, steal, underappreciate the divine feminine. And I feel like, man, they fear the power of the divine feminine. That's why they grasp onto these concepts when it comes to demonizing aspects of the divine feminine. Like they cling onto it. I had a young person tell me that they perceive women as deceptive because all the major women in the Bible was deceptive. He talking about like Jezebel. He talking about like Eve. And then they blame everything on Eve. Like, goddamn. So yeah. People so well trained and indoctrinated that they indoctrinate themselves into new concepts under the same construct. Get on my motherfucking nerves. Anyways. Anyways. Emperor. Um, they can be very selfish. And it could be very annoying because they would not see it as selfishness. Um, I mean, they would feel like they deserve whatever they want. But when it becomes selfish is when they don't consider others. So, an emperor would be very convinced of their way. And the only person that could really challenge them is the empress. Like a lot of times, the queens and kings, they're going to submit. But the empress would never feel the need to. But the empress will walk beside you and give you good advice and motivate you and inspire you to do great things. They would see your vision, see your goals, and if it matches theirs, then they will help you build it. And they will help maintain it. I don't feel like emperors can really find that in other archetypes. So that's why it's really important for them to have an empress. Like, it's really important. I feel like it's even more important than the empress having the emperor, because an empress can get with a king and that king will develop into an emperor. And I also feel like the empress would know and understand the emperor so well. Like, people might just look at an emperor and see their greatness, but an empress would see the complexities of that emperor. Understand what it took for them to become that. And they might not feel like they want to deal with it. Like, it might be easier for an empress to get with a king and them evolve together and everything, because an emperor is not going to take a king or a queen and turn them into a emperor or empress. They just not going to do it because they don't pour in that way. So a lot of times they might not even be thinking of doing it. Like they just won't be able to do it. Um I do feel like a queen can evolve into an empress while in a relationship with them, but it's not gonna be because of them. Um, what else? I mean, who else they do good with? Out of like the queens, I think all of the queens because maybe not so much with the Queen of Cups. I feel like they would do well with like a Queen of Pentacles and a Queen of Swords because I feel like they would be able to utilize those aspects. Um, Maybe a Queen of Wands, but sometimes emperors will look at Queen of Wands as too risky. Um, so they will prefer a high priestess over a Queen of Wands because a high priestess have more control over their passions. Um, a Hierophant. I just feel like the Hierophant and the Emperor have two very different types of ambitions. Um, I feel like the Hierophant may even become overwhelmed with the ambitions of the Emperor, and it's like their lives will probably be very separate if they was to get together. Um, like the Hierophant would be focused on building in a different area of life than what the Emperor is doing. And they could just come home and maybe raise a family together or something like that, but their lives are not going to be well integrated. Um, Emperors with high priests. I really feel like that's only really gonna work if like the emperor have like a devil or a damn oh musician with a devil or a musician archetype in the midst somewhere. Um and I feel like a darker emperor would do really good with a high priestess, especially high priestess with like empress archetype mixed in there, because high priestess can handle a lot. Like a high priestess can handle the dark and the light, and I feel like empress Um, kinda. Not in the same way though. Not in the same way. Yeah, I really feel like an emperor, the type of emperor that gets with a high priestess, um, is usually a rebellious emperor. If that's mixed into their persona or whatever like that, like they have like a darker persona, like they're not too focused on trying to be like friendly and liked by everybody, then they would do really good and benefit a lot from a high priestess. Um, I feel like emperors do really good with the sub star archetype, like people who have that star archetype, because I feel like they know how to utilize the star energy, and if they're a good person, I feel like they can maintain a good relationship with the star energy, which is hard for people to do because I feel like people see the star as their ticket, and they start to use the star, and their mind become real selfish. It's like all they could think about is how can they benefit from this star energy. It's almost like having a magic lamp with a genie in it, and the star energy is the genie. It's almost like the star energy made people become overwhelmed with inspiration, like overwhelmed with greed, even. Um, and I'm saying that because a lot of people start to treat the star energy like an asset, and emperors are good with assets. They good at taking care of them. Um, they can even be good at appreciating them. Emperors with devil archetypes. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's like a fatal attraction. Like, it would be hot, but would it be good for them? I don't think so. Unless it's like a sub archetype. And then on top of that, I don't really know if two devil archetypes should get together. But if it's like a sub archetypes in both of them, then I feel like it could work. But if it's like a main archetype, I don't know. I don't know about that. Um, Another archetype that I'm really excited about talking about is the sun archetype, because it's just so different. But it do come with like some major karma. So I will get into that soon. I will try to get into that after I do Empress.